We start off in the education sector. The federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities have signed a new agreement aimed at ending years of industrial disputes and restoring stability to Nigeria's public universities. The agreement was formalized earlier today in Abuja. Maria Mohammed was there.
For more than a decade, Nigeria's public universities have been caught in a circle of strikes and shutdowns. Between 2009 and 2025, ASUU embarked on about 18 nationwide strikes, most of them linked to the non-implementation of the 2009 agreement with government. The longest was 9 months, shut down in 2020. Other major strikes in 2010, 2013 and 2022 forced universities to close repeatedly, disrupting academic calendars and costing students more than 4 full academic years. While student groups like National Association of Nigerian Students (NANS) have often backed ASUU's demands, many students say the prolonged closures have taken a heavy toll on their education and future plans.
Congratulations and with President Bola Tinubu, and we're very grateful as a nation today.
At today's signing, the Minister of Education, Maruf Tunji Alausa, described the agreement as a turning point for Nigeria's tertiary education sector. He praised ASUU's leadership for embracing dialogue and said the deal supports President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, with emphasis on uninterrupted academic calendars and improved lecturer welfare.
This agreement, we're making promise to you today, this agreement will be effective from January 1st, and was effective from January 1st, 2026. The key components include the emolument of university academic staff, which has been reviewed upward by 40% to enhance the morale, improve the quality of service delivery, and the global competitiveness of Nigeria tertiary education institution, and also to reverse brain drain. With regards to the HEN academic allowances, these allowances, 9 in numbers, are now clearly structured, transparently HENed, and strictly tied to duties performed, thereby promoting productivity, accountability, and fairness.
ASUU President Professor Chris Piuna said the agreement revisits long-standing unresolved issues dating back to 2009. He commended the reconstituted Yayale Ahmed Committee and the Education Ministry for driving the renegotiation, but noted that some concerns remain. These include government interference in universities' governance, poor research funding, and accountability in universities' management.
The 2025 renegotiated agreement is the outcome of a prolonged renegotiation that was initiated, like Senator Tejusu said, in 2017 to review the 2009 agreement, and which was to revitalize the Nigerian university system. Our union also wants to specially appreciate the Honorable Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Maruf Alausa, for his steadfast support and encouragement to get us to this point. We often disagreed with the minister, but he's an open-minded person, and he always takes arguments that he thinks are strong and can stand.
The Minister of Labour and Employment, Professor Mohammed Dingyadi, urged both sides to sustain industrial harmony, stressing that dialogue remains most effective tool for resolving disputes.
Other ministries, departments and agencies to emulate this approach by painstakingly engaging their workers, their employers, understanding their legitimate concerns and resolving disputes amicably rather than allowing them to fester and complicate the Federal Ministry of Labour and Employment's coalition efforts.
Lawmakers also weighed in, calling on government and ASUU to honor the agreement with transparency and good faith. Stakeholders say if fully implemented, the agreement could finally deliver the stability Nigeria's public universities have been long searching for. With commitments now on paper, attention turns to implementation as students, parents and lecturers look forward to a more stable and predictable university system across the country. Mariam Mohammed, TVC News, Abuja.
Let's now talk to education researcher Dr. Peter Ogudoro for more on this new development. Dr. Ogudoro, thank you for joining us on the news this hour. Both parties appear to be happy if we go by the cheers and claps in the room earlier today. But public universities, as you are aware, have endured repeated strikes for over a decade now. We've had not less than 18 nationwide strikes between 2009 and 2025. If you look at this recent agreement with promises like a 40% salary increase for academic staff, consolidated benefits, special allowances for senior academics, do you believe these financial incentives are sufficient to address the root causes of past industrial actions?
Yeah, definitely. This is a great step forward for us, and we must find the humility and the graciousness to thank the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Ahmed Tinubu, for empowering his representatives to make this happen. I'm glad because this is going to stem the tide with respect to brain drain, which has been very terrible for our education industry, thereby threatening our capacity to produce the manpower we need to fast-track development for our country. So I'm very hopeful that we are going to move forward. And again, we had no choice than to do this history. And with respect to immigration, you will discover that if we don't make our universities work now, it means that those politicians who for a long time have been thinking that they can ignore our universities because they are able to send their children abroad. Now it's becoming obvious that even if you have the money, some of the best universities around the world may not be able to welcome you because the governments of their countries are putting obstacles in their ways to welcome international students.
We had ASUU president highlighting some lingering concerns even after signing this document. One of such is government interference in university governance. He also touched on poor research funding. How critical are these structural issues in determining whether this new agreement will stand the test of time?
Well, if you are well-schooled in industrial relations, you will understand that when workers go to the negotiation table to bargain with their employers, what is uppermost on their mind most times is their own conditions of service in terms of their welfare. The government has been able to take care of that with this agreement, but definitely if we want to improve the quality of education that these lecturers are able to provide, then we have to improve quality of research, we have to improve infrastructure, we have to make the right technology available. But no nation resolves all of its problems in one day, and so we must have the humility and the honesty to admit that this is a good starting point, and then gradually we'll be able to tackle those other lingering challenges.
I believe there will be Nigerians who are approaching this with some cautious optimism, especially those who have seen agreements of this type in the past and how they have faltered at the implementation stage. Let us talk about what you think the federal government and ASUU must put in place now in terms of mechanisms to ensure timely execution and avoid another protracted shutdown.
Yeah, it is to make sure that the implications of this agreement in terms of the money needed to fund it are reflected in maybe a supplementary budget, so that we don't get to a point where the Federal Ministry of Finance will tell us that the money to make it happen is not available. But I trust that this president knows how important it is that we do not go into an agreement that we are not going to be able to execute, because that will be very disreputable. It will tarnish our image as a government and as a people. And I'm quite optimistic this time. I have never been this confident that something that government is going into will happen. But at the same time, we have to encourage them to ensure that enemies of society do not discourage them from not implementing this agreement 100%.
Hopefully the next time we're talking, we will be discussing industrial action. Dr. Peter Ogudoro, that's our time. Thank you for talking to us.
My pleasure.
And coming up on the news this hour, Niger State government